In this video, I'm going to tell you how to nail a job interview, and I'll tell you how to prepare for it, and also I'll tell you all kinds of questions which you might get asked so that you can be fully prepared for any kind of question thrown at you. And this is based on my personal experience which I encountered during my job hunt in the North American market. So stick till the very end to get to know all kinds of questions that you can get asked in the interview, and also the crazy ones which I will cover towards the end. Welcome to Bani Abroad. If you're new to this channel, then I make content on studying and settling abroad, which will give you an edge. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button right now. Without further ado, let's get started. Once your resume gets shortlisted, most probably the first round that you will have would be the HR round. So this would be more of a general one, and the HR would ask you qualifying questions to see if you are worth the hiring manager's time, like the one who would actually be considering you for the role. So the HR can ask you any type of questions to check whether you are qualified for this job or not, and if you are qualified, whether you are willing to accept the terms and conditions. The HR can ask you questions ranging from, are you willing to relocate? Then how long is your notice period, so that they know that when they need you, you would be there to start with them. And then there would be the question of salary expectation, which you have to navigate very smartly, because you can even lowball yourself by saying something which is below the company standards, and you might even put yourself at risk by quoting some figure which the company is not ready to pay. So you'll have to be really smart about this, and this requires research. So you can go to Glassdoor and see what's the average salary of that role in the company, and even talk to the employees there and get an idea, so that when the HR asks you that question, you would be ready to answer, and you won't just at the spur of the moment give just a random number. So please be prepared with the salary expectation that you have. Of course, like, you would have some target for yourself, but different industries will pay you differently, so you have to tweak your salary accordingly. In my HR round, I've been also asked these kind of questions, such as, what do you know about our company? Do you know our values? Do you know our vision? So just make sure that you are thorough with the company. And so make sure that if you do not know anything else about the company, you should know these three things. So in a job application where HR round is the first round, the HR will only let you on to the second round if they feel that you are well qualified for this role and you fit in with the candidate that they require, based on relocation, based on salary expectations, and even the software or the tools that you know. So they can even ask you questions such as, okay, tell me the tools that you are proficient in, tell me what software have you worked on. So also be prepared with this. And if in the job description there is such a tool or a software which you are not well versed with, of course you will have time between the email and your first interview. Make sure that you read about it, and to the HR you can say that I do know about that, because the HR is not going to ask you technical questions. So you'll have even more time to get familiar with that software or tool until your second interview. So make sure that if you really want that job, then you have to tick all the boxes which the HR is asking you about, and one or two of course you can skip and you can explain. But then if you would be shortlisted or not depends on the rest of the candidates. So just make sure that if there is something which you do not know but you can easily learn that within a few days or a week, you do say that you know that. And it's not that you just blankly say that you know that, but you would have studied that during the time gap that you had. So just make sure that you can tick off as many boxes as possible. And of course the best part is that you already know some things, but then you find the gap between the job description and your skills, and during that time you educate yourself on those skills, so that you can truthfully say that yes, you know that software or you know that tool. Now I'm going to tell you the kind of questions that you can expect after you are shortlisted and move on to the second round. So one is the profile based questions. You have to be thorough with your resume. You have to be thorough with the work experience that you have mentioned. If there is something technical, then you have to be thorough about that software or tool or the kind of projects that you have mentioned on the resume. So make sure that what you are mentioning on the resume you are pretty confident about, because that's the piece of paper that they might refer to when asking you questions. And one other thing, if you feel that the interviewer is not asking a lot of questions from the resume but general questions, then don't just assume that the interviewer has gone through your resume pinpoint and you don't need to explain the meat of your role, because you have already mentioned that on the resume. Don't think like that, because then you might miss on conveying the key messages that the interviewer needed to hear in order to shortlist you. Also, one other thing, your resume should be consistent with LinkedIn. The employer might check your LinkedIn, and then there are some facts which do not add up, and that would of course raise a red flag. So make sure that the dates on LinkedIn and your roles, they are consistent with what you are writing on the resume. The employer might or might not go through your LinkedIn, but if he or she is that kind of an employer who goes through your LinkedIn and you do not have a well polished one, then that's negative for you. So make sure that when you are applying for jobs, and even if you're not, like, it's good to have a complete LinkedIn profile. So make sure that you work on that and don't ignore that thinking that that's not important. So for the profile based questions, be thorough with your resume, be thorough with your projects, your work experience, your leadership experience, and whatever additional info that you have listed out on the resume. So now that we have tackled this profile based round, in the same round they can even ask you behavioral questions. In North America, this round is really important, and you'll find almost everyone that you interview with ask you these questions. Personally, for me, I've been asked these questions in each and every interview that I went to. So please take this round seriously, and you of course will have to prepare for this round as well. So the kind of questions that you can expect are: number one, tell me about a time when there was a conflict in your team and how did you resolve it. Another question can be: tell me about a time where you had conflicting priorities and how did you deal with it. So these are the questions for which you'll have to prepare your stories, and you'll have to draw from your past experiences, and make sure that for each and every question you have in your head that, okay, this is what I can tell. It's not like you have to prepare line by line, but just like if they are asking you something about conflicts, then make sure that you have 2 or 3 stories ready so that they don't overlap. Like, you have some common stories where you showed conflict management, where you showed change management, but then, like, if they have already asked that question, then you can have another story to back you up. So in order to nail this round, make sure that you are prepared with your stories. And one tip, if you follow this, that would be amazing. If you don't, then also it's fine. But if you want to go that extra step, then make sure that you align your stories in accordance with the company's values. That will go a long way. Now, this behavioral round that I talked about, it can even be in your first interview with the hiring manager, or it can be as a part of your application. By that I mean that when you submit your resume, when you have to complete your job application, you would only be able to complete it if you go through the one-sided interview round, and that is like you have to see in the camera and speak your answer. There's no other person which is at the other end of the screen. So it's a recorded one-sided interview. So in these kind of rounds, even for B schools and even for job interviews, this applies to both. It's very typical of companies or B schools to ask you behavioral questions or abstract questions. Now that I've mentioned abstract questions, let me tell you about these. So one is that they can be either in the one-sided recorded interview round, or these can be in your actual interview with the hiring manager. So how this will play out is that you can get asked questions such as: what is your favorite holiday destination? If you had one superpower, which would it be? And these, I believe, are more prominent for the one-sided video round. And you can also get asked a different set of abstract questions, which I got asked during my interview with the hiring manager. So I'll just share with you a few questions which I was asked, and one of those was really interesting, and that was: what's the greatest advice that you have received in the past 1 year? And the second question was: would you be rather good at many things or great at just one thing? So also be prepared for these kind of questions. The main reason behind asking questions, I believe, is to check your personality. So make sure that if you do come across these questions, then you are not afraid to answer these, and you just tell them what comes to your mind and tell that confidently. So till now we have covered the HR round, the profile based questions, the behavioral questions, the abstract questions. Now if you clear all of these and you are on to the second round, here is what it can be. One, it can be a technical round. If you're interviewing for a job which is very tech oriented or skill oriented, then you would definitely have this. So the technical round can either be the round with the hiring manager, or it can be a time bound assignment that they give to you, and you have to complete that and submit it. And then based on your performance on that assignment, they'll see if they want to select you or not. And the other way would be simply where the hiring manager can ask you questions based on the kind of tools that they would expect you to work on or your past technical experience. So make sure that you brush up all the softwares or the tools that you use, and you can tackle those questions carefully. So the position of this role can vary depending on the company. Some companies can have it as a preliminary preliminary round that okay, they will see your performance and then shortlist candidates. But for some companies, they can even do this, that first they'll ask you the general questions and then they'll have the technical round. Now, if that's not a tech oriented role but is a consulting role, then you would definitely have a case interview in which you will be presented with a case and you have to give your recommendation. And in this, what matters is not your final recommendation. Of course, if you get it correct, then you get brownie points for that. But what's more important is the process. What type of questions are you asking? Where is your thinking leading to? So don't worry too much about the recommendation, but work on the process. You should know what kind of questions to ask, how to lead the interview, and also some basic formulas. They won't require you to crunch a lot of numbers, but still, basic formulas that are related to your profile, you should be aware of those. So these were the kind of questions that you can expect, but this video is not over. That means there are a few other questions or few other rounds which I haven't still covered. So let's talk about those, and these are the unique ones. So one of the rounds can even be a game-based round. It would be a computer game, and the results of those games would be an indirect representation of your personality traits. So let's go to the examples now. The kinds of games that you can expect are, one would be sequential reasoning. There would be a sequence and then you would be asked to predict the next in the pattern. And then also there can be abstract games such as there are multiple dots on the screen and you have to identify the pattern, and then they'll ask you click on the dots in the same manner that they were displayed. So all of these games are targeted at a particular personality aspect. So instead of asking you are you focused or not, they would rather test it through a game which would act as a proxy to your personality trait. So there were a few companies which had this game-based round, and this round is in the application itself. Like when you submit your application, you get a link that you have to complete this within 48 hours or within 72 hours, and you'll have these kinds of games. So depending on the company that you're applying to, you might also get a chance to witness this round. And now coming to the last set of questions, which is the personality test. And there are a few companies which have eliminated the resume. By eliminate, I mean that it's optional, that if you don't want to submit it, it's fine. Instead of that, what they are asking you is to complete a personality test. So you'll be asked a lot of questions, and that is your self-assessment. You can be asked like on a scale of 1 to 10, how good a leader are you? How comfortable are you in saying no? So that they know what kind of role would be suitable for you. And the companies that do take this test lay importance on your character rather than the skills, because they believe that skills can be taught, but it's your orientation, your personality, that's what matters, and how fit would you be for a particular role. So that's why they opt for a personality test instead of the traditional resume. Although I said that that was the last segment, but this that I'm going to tell you is the last segment, and that's really important. So when everything is done, when you are towards the end of your interview, you'll get asked any questions for us. And please don't just say no, that's it. Utilize that as an opportunity to stand apart, to show that you are genuinely interested in this position. And I'll just tell you what kind of questions you can ask, and also a few examples from my personal set of questions that I like to ask towards the end of the interview. So one question that I like to ask is, in your opinion, what do you feel is the difference between an average employer versus the best employer at your company, so that I can incorporate those character traits right from the beginning. This shows that you are open to feedback and that you do have a growth mindset. You are willing to learn new things. So this is the question that you can ask. And other questions like whatever you feel that you want to know, or if there's any question that would show your genuine dedication, or even you can ask them about some project that the company is undergoing and you know something about it and you are deeply invested in that. So you can ask an intelligent question about that as well. It doesn't have to strictly revolve around you, but also you can ask about the company, the major projects, and even something about the interviewer. So this would be your personal preference, the kind of questions that you want to ask, but make sure that you do utilize this opportunity and not just say no, thank you. I'm pretty confident that the questions that I've covered in this video, the type of questions, they are almost 99% of the questions that you can expect. If you are well prepared with these set of questions, then you are going to nail the interview. And one last thing, so your interview is done, you think that okay, now you just have to wait for it. No, please do send a thank you note, because that can make all the difference in the world. You might be thinking that, oh, I performed so well in the interview, or I performed so bad in the interview, what can a thank you note change? But believe me or not, that can have a lot of impact on your result, and the impact is of course going to be positive, so there's no harm in sending that. Make sure that within 24 hours you do write a thank you note to the hiring manager, thanking them for their time and consideration. That can also help you stand apart, because not everyone will write that message, and then they'll have another instance to remember about you, and they'll know while you're shortlisting, oh yeah, this person reached out to me after the end of the interview. So make sure that you do that. And with this final tip, we are at the end of the video. I hope that this video would be instrumental in you landing a job, and if you found this to be valuable, then I'm pretty sure that this video would also be relevant to you. And now, if you did like the video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon as well. Until my next video, take care and stay happy. Bye.